Okay, there are a couple of points that I make when I'm talking about watching on-demand football, recorded football games. One of them is that there are so many games going on simultaneously that there's just no way that you can see all the stuff that you have the possibility of being interested in. I mean, I'm sure that everyone's like I am. They pick out the game that they want to watch on Saturday afternoon, or if you're a real diehard, you pick out games during the week and you schedule time to watch those. But there's just a whole lot more than you'll ever be able to see if the only option that you have is to watch these things live. And so I went out looking for a source for data on broadcast and streaming feeds for football during the 2018 season, and I found a website that compiles all this information. Whoever's running this website does a tremendous amount of work to put this together. The website is lsufootball.net. And apparently what they do is they go to the team websites, they go to the official broadcast schedules for ESPN and Fox Sports and so on, and they compile all this data to show when the games are on and just kind of stacks them up. And what I did was I took information from that website and put it into a calendar because it's easier for me to see if it's in calendar form. So that's where the data comes from. So let's take a look at this. This is the month of September for 2018. Here's the month of October. So you can see that there's lots of, and we're in October right now, so that's why the whole month isn't filled out. So let's go back to September because we have a better fill on that. So we see all these things in green are obviously games. Navy at Hawaii on CBS-SN. It shows what network it's on. If it's streamed, then it shows that it's streaming. So there's Tulsa at Temple on ESPN. Penn State at Illinois on FS1. Blah blah blah. So you notice that there's a bunch of stuff here on Sunday. These are not really games that are played on Sunday. They're wraparounds from the Saturday game. So these things that are showing up here on Sunday the 2nd are actually games that were played late in the day on September 1st. All the times that I'm showing here are Central Time, by the way. So we can see that there are some games during the week. I mean, there's a game here on Monday, and then there are a few games on Thursday in this first week of the season. But then it kind of tapers off after that. There are a fair number of games that are played on Friday, but the bulk of them are played on Saturday. And you look at this and you say, well, gee, there are only 3 games on Saturday, but they're not. There are 3 games plus 120 games on the 8th, and plus 102 games on the 15th, and plus 110 games on the 22nd. So let's go and we'll take a look at September 8th and just see how many of these games are played simultaneously. And it's like being hit in the head here. Each one of these green bars represents a game. So there's Arizona at Houston on ABC. Here's at 11 a.m. and here at 2:30 is Arkansas State at Alabama. Now I happen to know how this one turned out. Arkansas State, Alabama ended up being a 57-7 win for Alabama at home. It's like Arkansas State is the sacrificial lamb for Alabama in one of the early season games. But the point is here is that look at all these games. I mean, it's just astonishing how many of them there are. There are lots of different ways of seeing these things. You know, there's a lot of Division I football, but there's a lot of really good football at lower levels. These are smaller schools that are all sort of competing for that TV dollar, and it's just sort of a shame that there's so much going on simultaneously here, that there's just no way that you can watch more than one game. I mean, if you're a real diehard, you may watch 2 back-to-back games on Saturday, but I don't know. That's 7 hours of football. So my preference is to pick out the game that I'm really interested in on Saturday, and if I can sit through the whole thing with all the commercials and halftime and everything else for that 3.5 hours, then I'll watch it. But it has to be a pretty good game for me to watch the whole thing. Now, as an alternative, what you can do with my application for watching recorded games is that you can pick the games that turned out to be interesting. You know, I can't imagine that I'm going to watch Alabama beat Arkansas State 57-7 as a recorded game unless I'm a real diehard Arkansas fan or Arkansas State fan or Alabama fan. You know, for me, I'm more interested in watching games that are close. So by watching recorded games, you can see which games turned out to be good games, and then you can watch them. And it isn't just I'm going to watch this 3.5 hour recorded game. With my application, you can skip through the stuff that is not meaningful. I typically watch a game in an hour at the most because I skip all the dead time between plays. I have controls that allow the user to jump to the beginning of each play. You know, speaking for myself, if it's another incomplete pass, so what? I'll just move on to the next play. If there's an official review, I actually have a countdown timer between plays. You know, when the play kicks off, it runs for 10 seconds, and then the countdown timer starts counting time to the next play. And you know, if it looks like it's going to be 30 seconds or 45 seconds or 90 seconds to the next play, unless there's something really that I want to know about what's going on in between plays, I'll just skip to the next one. So the point is that I don't feel like I lose anything by watching the games this way. I think that I still get a really good sense of how each team played, and it's just more concentrated football. Since I'm not forced into that 3.5 hour window to watch the game, I'll just control it and I'll shorten it. You know, there's no point in me spending 3.5 hours to watch this game. So anyway, this is just a video to show kind of the magnitude of the problem as I see it, with how many games there are that are going on simultaneously. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.